Hello bros and welcome to this video, BroFive production. Next part of the Sakura Fox Adventure. Yeah. So let's jump back into it. So last time we got hunted by the guards into the forest, bleeding from the back of our head from a rock we were hit at, and they were just one of them was just about to kill me, and she saved me. I don't remember her name. Yeah, Juni. Juni is standing before me, her ashen hair fluttering behind her like a cape. She holds her sword in her hand, and her cold eyes are burning with hard steel determination. She is pointing the sword at me, though. Instead, she's pointing it at... Leave her, Fallon. Fallon stares at Juni, her expression disbelieving. What are you talking about, Juni? Didn't you hear what the village chief said? We have to get rid of her, one way or another. Really? And do you always do everything the chief says? Well, no, but... And does that girl look like a threat to you? Juni glances at me. I'm still crouched on the ground, shivering. I don't think I could get up if I tried. You're right. You're right, of course. Fallon sighs and draws in a breath, pressing her fingers against her temple. I don't think she's evil, no, but she did disrupt our festival. That much can be refuted. So you think she deserved to die because of that? I thought you were more honorable than that, Fallon. I never imagined I would see you threatening to harm somebody far weaker than you, who can't fight back. You disappointed me. Disappointed you. But I'm only trying to protect our village. By murdering this poor creature. Please. Well... Fallon glances away, her brow furrowed. I didn't want to kill her. Not necessarily. I was hoping if I injured her a little, she might have the gumption to run away on her own. I feel awful causing her pain, but no matter what you say, she can't stay here. She's our kitsune. You heard the stories about them, haven't you? They're supposed to be dangerous. Fox or no, she's still a living creature and she's suffering. We need to take care of her. Now, Mikoto, you poor thing. Juni sheathes her sword and turns to look at me, her eyes soft with concern. She bends down, arm outstretched, her fingers pointed upward at the brilliant moon. Can you stand? If not, you can take my hand. But you're not meant to help me. If you do, you'll get in trouble. Oh, I'm always getting in trouble. The village leader says I'm too unconventional to be a proper knight. But what does she know? Does he know? I don't care about being conventional. Not if it help. It help you. Now here. Juni fingers coils around mine. Slowly she helps me to my feet. Just a few seconds earlier I thought I was going to die. But now Juni is here. She saved me. She saved my life, and I... Mikoto! Hey! Mikoto! All of a sudden I feel incredibly tired. All the little strength that still remains in my body evaporates, and with a soft sigh I fall into Juni's waiting arms. After that, all I see is deep, impenetrable darkness. What? When I wake up, I find myself in an unfamiliar room. The walls and floor are made of wood, and a shelf in the corner filled with books. The room is small, but it's certainly comfortable, and the warm sunlight streaming through the window dyes everything gold. I winch, wiping my eyes with my hands. Where am I? I'm sure I've never been here before. This is nothing like my room back in Yamatai, with its tatami floor and sliding doors. All things considered, I should probably be unnerved. But in fact, it's the exact opposite. The bed sheets feel soft against my skin, and the sunlight is deliciously warm. I can hear birds chirping in the trees beyond the window and smell a delicious mouth-watering aroma in the air. This place feels like a pleasant dream. If I wanted, I could sit back on the bed and fall fast asleep. My eyes are already halfway shut when... Huh? I look down at myself, blinking. That when I realize I'm almost completely naked, save for my underwear. Well, if it was a girl that undressed you, so I would say it's no problem. Wait a sec. Okay, now it's time to panic. Where did my clothes go? Did somebody strip me? I know I'm cute, but this is taking things too far. What in the world happened last night? Oh, have you woken up already? Eek! I instinctively throw my arms around my chest in an attempt to conceal my breast. Not that it does much good. Yeah. That would I say is the bad part about having big breasts. No matter what you do, you can't conceal them properly. If anything, it's only succeeded in squashing my boobs together that I look even more alluring to potential predators. The woman who just entered the room, though, doesn't seem too interested in my body. She simply smiles, her eyes crinkling in the corners. I'm so relieved to see you all right. Oh. I sighed heavily, the tension fading from my body. I know who this woman is, though. My memories of last night are spotty, and at best, this is the knight who ran the goldfish scoping stall. I believe her name was... Juniper, right? Juni is fine. Juni smiles at me, her hands linked together at her front. And if you were wondering about your clothes, I hung them outside to dry. Oh, I see. I glance out the window at the expanse of grassy beyond what I assume is Juni's home in the garden. I can see washing lines set up with my clothes hanging from it. I guess that makes sense. I do disbelieve that she's actually wearing panties, though. Seriously, if she has a tail, how annoying would it not be to have panties? But they could, because she lives in a kitsune village, I would guess that panties might actually be specially designed to allow the tail. That's what I guess. I didn't think you were a panty thief, but it's nice to have a little confirmation. Oh, of course I'm not a panty thief. You're still wearing your panties. I wanted to dry those too, but I thought it'd be a little too much. I mean, we're only just met. Taking off all your clothes would be a bit forward. Juni toys with a look at her cheeks flushed. So despite being a knight, she can get embarrassed too. Huh. How cute. This human might be fun to tease just a little. But first I have one or two questions I'd like to ask her. Why did you remove my clothes in the first place? I don't remember you doing that. Well, you wouldn't. You were passed out. So you lured me back to your home in the dead of night and pushed me onto your bed and stripped me bare. Don't you have any shame, woman? I had to. There was no other way. Your clothes were dirty and they were all wet. I was afraid if I let you sleep like that, you'd catch a cold. I'm not a pervert, I promise. I was just trying to help. For a girl who claims she isn't a pervert, you sure are staring at my boobs a lot. You and I snap open. Her cheeks blister redder and redder until she bears a striking resemblance to a bonfire. Since Juni's skin is so pale, she turns red easily. It makes her quite sharp contrast with every pale, almost ashen hair. I have to keep that in mind for future reference. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to stare, I just couldn't help it. I wasn't sure where else to put my eyes. It's alright, you don't need to be bashful. I know as far as foxes go, I'm very beautiful. I have neat long limbs and a cute fluffy tail, and what? And I was just thinking. You can see my tail, can't you? That's right. It's every bit as cute and fluffy as you said. And my ears? Perchy right on top of your head. That must mean you know I'm a kitsune. Of course. That was made quite apparent after the events of last night. I know you're a kitsune, and I think everybody else in the Warren Builders does too. What? That can't be true. I used my magic to hide my identity. Nobody should know who I am. They didn't at first, I must admit. You had us all fooled. But your secret's well and truly out now. I don't know what spell you were using to hide your ears and tail, but I think it must be defective. Maybe you could get a refund. Defective? That's right. That was what I am. Okana was right. I never should have come here. Ohana? My tutor. She said my magic wasn't good enough to enter a human village unnoticed, and she was right. I thought I knew better than her, but I don't know anything. Now I messed everything up. I press a hand against my mouth, my stomach churns, and I can feel bile rising in my throat. I feel sick, and the rich milky smell in the air doesn't exactly help. Was Juni in the middle of cooking something? Maybe if I interrupted her, just like I interrupted her last night. It's all beginning to come back to me now. It bits in pieces. Well, if I get the same picture again, I scare not counting it as an end. My shriek through the woods, the fish scoping game, the cries of alarm, the shout, the screams. Is that a kitsune? How long has she been here? What is a beast like that doing in our village? If we let her stay here too long, she'll bring misfortune down on all of us. She isn't welcome here. I cringed, my tail twitching with delayed panic. When those humans realized what I was, they all turned on me. They treated me like I was a monster. And to think, I thought the humans and Foxer could be friends. What a ridiculous idea. I really am stupid. Mikoto, hey Mikoto, are you okay? I'm fine. It also occurred to me, if it wasn't for you, Juni, I'd be dead by now. You saved me. Oh no, think nothing of it. Anybody would have done the same. But nobody did. You were the only one who helped me out. You saved my life, but I have nothing to give you in return. You really don't need to give me anything. But I insist. As a future head of Yamatai clan, I can be in a human's debt. Be unseemly. My mother's never forgive me. Not that she'd forgive me anyway if she finds out what I've done. She'll flip out, and Ohana too. I might miscalculate a little. I've never been the best at math. But at least I need to make things right with you. I can't give you any money, and I don't have any jewels. But I have my body. Of course. I suspected that from the instant she said death. If you like, I'll let you bury your head in my boobs. No, I appreciate the thought, but that really won't be necessary. Oh, don't be so modest. You helped me out, so I've got to do something for you in return. It's an eye for an eye, you know. Now, why don't you touch my boobs? You can even grope them all. I've seen how much you like them. You can't stop staring at them. No, it's fine. I don't want to take advantage of you. Oh, I see. So my boobs aren't good enough for you. I must cause I'm a kitsune. I know you humans don't like my kind. You're probably afraid that I taint you. That's not true at all. The others in my village might think that way, but they're old and jaded. They can't see beyond their own silly prejudices, but I can. I don't care if you're a kitsune. You're still a living being with thoughts and feelings. I saw how upset you were back at the festival, and how badly you wanted to fit in. And that's why I decided to defend you. I can't stand people who harass those who have done nothing wrong. It's unjust. I became a knight so I could fight on behalf of people like you. But surely you want some kind of reward. No, I don't. I didn't help you because I wanted to any underhanded reward. Simply performing a good deed was more than enough for me. I'm happy you're recovered, so please don't force yourself right now. You need to rest. That's right. I look at my lap, suddenly abashed. I only wanted to make amends with Juni, but it seems my overzealous attitude has made things even worse. Well, Hannah always says I'm too rash. I guess she's right. I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. That's how I got into this huge mess to begin with. I just don't think, and now I placed a huge burden on you. I'm getting in your way, and I have no way to repay you either. You're not getting in my way, silly. I brought you back to my home because I wanted to. This was my choice, so you have no need to apologize. I'm old enough to accept the consequences of my actions. Right. I blink at Juni, hopefully. Are you sure you don't want to feel my boobs? They're very nice and soft. I'm sure they are. I mean, you're very attractive, but, well, Juni fingers twitch at her sides. For a few moments I wonder if she's going to take me up on my offer. I wait and wait, but... I sleep, my nose twitching. Is it just my imagination, or is something burning? Burning? Juni looks at me for a few moments, her expression impassive before... Oh no, I forgot about the porridge on the stove. I'm sorry about the porridge. I hope you can still eat it at least. Oh no, it's fine. I blow my shared porridge with still steaming hot and bridge the spoon to my lips. I guess the porridge does taste a little weird, but it's not entirely inedible. Besides, it'd be rude to complain about it now after Juni went all the effort to make it for me. She didn't have to. Neither did she have to rescue me last night. She puts herself in danger to help me. A stranger who she hardly knows. She really is kind. Thank you, Juni. I appreciate it. I'm not just thanking her for the porridge or my newly dried clothes. I want to let her know how grateful I am for everything she's done. Thanks, the porridge would taste better if I hadn't let it burn, though. It's a pity. Juni pouts. I don't want you to get the wrong idea. I am a competent cook, I promise. I'm sure you're better cook than me, at least. Now I'm curious, what sorts of foods do kitsunes eat? Mostly fish and nuts and berries. Whatever we can hunt in the forest, really. We don't have a fancy cuisine like this. Porridge isn't that fancy, you know. It's not? No, it's quite cheap, actually. Maybe I should have made you something more hearty, like an omelette or maybe some toast, but I thought porridge would be easier on your stomach. I wasn't sure if you could handle anything too heavy after... Well, Juni voice trails off, but I know what she's referring to. The rocks, the spears, and swords. The back of my head still hurts, though my scalp stopped bleeding. Juni must have soaked my wounds in warm water while I was still insensible. My lifeless body sprawled on her bed. What would I do without her? Do you feel a bit better, at least? I feel fine. You don't have a headache, any itching limbs, broken bones? I don't think so. No, I'm just a little sleepy. Thank goodness, I was worried about you. You just collapsed into my arms like a little doll. Sorry about that. I was kind of stressed at the time. Does that mean you carried me back to your home? Yes. Now I feel embarrassed. I hope I wasn't too heavy. You were fine. If anything, I was concerned about how light you were. You should eat a bit more. to get some color back into your cheeks. I'm not entirely convinced when you say you're fine. Why don't you try your porridge with this? Juni passes me a jar filled to the brim with a red sticky substance. Red sticky substance? What could that be? I of course think it's chili sauce. Or maybe ketchup. We'll see. It's sweet, so it should help to mask the burn the porridges. What is this? It's strawberry yam. Oh, it was yam. I didn't even think of that. Haven't you seen it before? Well, I definitely had strawberries before. Let me give this a try. I unscrew the jar, then stick a spoon into the sticky contents. I ladle some of the yam onto the porridge, mix it into the oats, then bring my spoon to my lips. I'm not expecting too much from this so-called yam, and yet... To my surprise, it tastes pretty good. In fact, it's better than good. This is delicious. I'm glad. I made that jam myself, you know. You did? But it's so sweet. It tastes like fairy's nectar. You really are talented. Well, I'm not. Not really. That's what Juni says, but the awkward smile on her face totally screams, yes, praise me more. Juni might be a human, but she's not all that hard to read. Maybe we humans and for kitsunes are so dissimilar after all. That being the case, why did the villagers of Warning react so negatively towards me? I'd never met any of them before, but it seemed as though they truly hated me. Hey Mikoto, are you alright? I'm alive at least. That's something if it wasn't for you though. The events of last night are still blurry, but they're starting to come back. One by one, they're not that most pleasant recollections. Is it any wonder I feel so blue? Did Fallon really mean to kill me? That is hard to say. Fallon isn't a bad woman, at least I don't think she is. She's always been a friendly, reliable person. I think she's nice, at least. I'm not so sure about that. She threatened to kill me. She threatened to, yes, but I don't know if she would have gone through with it. Fallon might be an idiot, but she is not a cruel person. She doesn't like crushing flies or tearing spiderwebs. I think she only intended to scare you so you'd run away. Then she'd go back into the village and tell everybody that she'd slain you. She'd be able to brag without dirtying her hands. That's what I think, at least. But it doesn't matter, because I stepped in before things could get out of hand. Yes, you did. My hero. But putting Fallon to one side, none of the other villagers seemed to like me much either. Your chief in particular. I shudder. He was so scary. Unwin is just an old coat. His views on the world are hopelessly outdated. He ordered the villagers to attack me. Well, he would. It's because he's old and prejudiced. And he believes all the silly tales his mother told him when she was young. What tales? The fox girls tear out humans' heart, bathed in their blood, and all sorts of nonsense. Damn, I said fox girls. Kitsune. I mean, he has no proof, of course, but Vigitory doesn't need proof. Unwin believes these stories, and that's proof enough for him. That's funny. My tutor Ohana told me stories like that about humans. She said you were a wicked, violent race and you wouldn't hesitate to hurt creatures you don't understand. She never said anything about kitsunes hurting humans, though. Well, perhaps we're both as bad as the other. We all have our own prejudices. If our positions were reversed and I had stumbled into your domain, maybe you would have come to my defense instead. I doubt that. My magical powers are pretty weak. Why I only have one tail, you see? Yes, I was wondering about that. I didn't want to ask in case it was rude, but Juni peers at my tail, a thoughtful look at her face. I thought mature mature kitsunes were supposed to have 9 tails. Oh no, only the most powerful kitsunes have 9 tails, usually they're several centuries old. Most kitsunes in my clan have 3 or 4 tails at the maximum. My mom's the only one with 9. And I'm the only... Okay, I definitely know that's wrong spelled. I am the only adult with 1. At my age, I really should have 2 tails by now, but my magic's too weak, so it won't manifest. I get a lot of flack for it back home. That's right. I get treated like an outcast by my fellow kitsunes and by your humans. I'm starting to feel like I don't belong anywhere. Well, you're not alone in that. Many of the village in Warren think I'm strange too, I guess, so we're both weird. That being the case, why don't you stay here? Huh? I stare at Juni, my mouth hanging open. You mean I can live with you? For a few days at least. You said you're well enough, but I worried you might have a concussion. You were bleeding quite badly when I examined you last night, and I wouldn't want you to collapsing in the forest. That's very kind of you, but I looked down at my lap, my fingers twined together. We're in Warren Village, right? None of the humans here like me. If they found me, they'd hurt me, and I might hurt you too. No, they won't. But you can... But how can you be so certain? Nobody will find out you here. My home isn't built in Warren itself. It's on the outskirts of the village, half hidden in the woods. The only person who knows I brought you here is Fallon, and I trust her not to rat you out. The two of us are childhood friends, and she owes me a few favors. If she does betray me, however... What? I'll make her rue the day she was born. Juni gestures towards her sword, which is lying sheeted on the chairs at the kitchen table. You mean you hurt her? Oh no, I wouldn't hurt anybody. Not willingly, anyway. If it's self-defense, though. Juni cracks her knuckles ominously. Well, that's another matter. Right. I shift away from Juni with my tail twitching. You look so kind, but you're actually kind of scary. Only when the topic of justice comes up. I can't stand people who hurt those unable to defend themselves. It just isn't right. You did nothing wrong, Mikoto. You don't deserve to be punished for being born kitsune. If anybody tells you otherwise, they're wrong. Right. I see how it is. You're certainly passionate. I didn't think Juni would be so fiery. She doesn't look the sort, but her pale skin and her clear blue eyes. But I suppose looks can be deceiving. I think she might be even more impulsive than I am. Then again, that might be a good thing. If it wasn't, she never would have saved me. I really do owe her. Now, don't you want to stay here, Mikoto? I don't mind if you do. I have more than enough food, and I don't mind if you want to use my bed. I can sleep on the floor. The floor? Is that really okay? It's fine. I mean, I am a knight. It wasn't so very long ago that I fought in the army, and I used to far harsher conditions than this. You don't need to worry. Juni smiles. I'll be just fine. Then, if you're sure it's okay, I pause pondering. I know I should go back to Yamatai as soon as possible. I've never been away from home for so long, and Ohana will be worried sick. Actually, if I would stay there, and I was the same gender as the person, I say it's okay to share the bed. But that's if there aren't any other beds, and there apparently aren't, so yeah, I would say that. But the thought of going back to Yamatai now when I finally managed to escape is far too oppressive. My adventure in Warren Village didn't get off to the most suspicious start, it's true, but now I'm with Juni. I don't want to go back home. I want to learn much more Juni and about the rest of the village. It might be impossible, but I really wouldn't be nice if humans and Kitsune could put their difference behind them. I really do wish we would become friends. Hey Juni, where are we going? I just thought it would be nice to get some fresh air. My home isn't very big, and staying inside for too long can get claustrophobic, don't you think? Well, you have a point. Being a kitsune, I'm accustomed to spending time among nature. I feel more at home among the towering oak trees and the forest than anywhere else. It's a nice warm day. Birds are twittering among the trees, and fronds and swing grass brush against my ankles. When I inhale, I can smell the rich, loamy earth. Twigs snap beneath the heels of my shoes, and leaves whispering on the trees. Under normal circumstances, I'd be happy to wander through these forests, particularly with a pretty girl like Juni in tow. But what if we run into anybody from Warren Village? We'll be fine, Mikoto. You worry too much. Ohana say my problem is that I don't worry enough. If I worried a little more about my future, I never would have come to Warren Village to begin with, but it's too late to fuss about that now. I just don't want you to get into trouble, that's all. I know we haven't known each other all that long, but you're nice to me, Juni, and you're important to me. Mikoto. Juni pauses her cheek and turns her face with a smiling sweetly. I'm flattered, and the feeling is more than mutual. I care about you too. Juni's hands rise to the hilt of her sword, which is strapped upon her back. That's why I won't let anybody hurt you, no matter what. You mean it? Cross my heart. Thanks, I guess. But it seems kind of weird you be so willing to go out of your way for a girl you barely know, and you're always such a goody two-shoes. I have heard people say I'm too generous, yes, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't like seeing other people suffer, especially not cute kitsunes like you. Juni giggles and ruffles the top of my head. Her fingers brush the base of my ears, and I, thrill of pleasure, tiptoes up and down my spine. Why do your hands feel so good? With skills like this, she could start her own massage parlor. Her gentle caresses are totally wasted upon being a knight. Juni wasn't made to swing around a sword. She should be a fondling me instead. I could not resist laughing a little bit there. Hey Mikoto, you got very quiet all of a sudden. Your face is turning red too. You don't have a fever, do you? I don't think so. I tried to refute Juni's question, but it's hard when my face is redder than the strawberry jam that I had at breakfast this morning. My cheeks are positively burning up here. Juni leans her face a little closer to mine, her eyes towered. Wait a second. No. It looks like my webcam is actually tilted, but what I can see it isn't. Juni leans her face a little closer to mine, her eyes narrowed. You said you felt well this morning, but did you have a rough time of it yesterday? Perhaps you need a bit more time to recover. Should we go back home instead? No, I don't want to go back. I got in your way enough already. It wouldn't be fair if I ruined your plans. But you're so red. That's caused a shift awkwardly from foot to foot. My ears are sensitive. Sensitive. That's right. When you rub them, it felt kinda good, or really, really good. Oh, I see. Juni blinks comprehensive, dawning upon her pretty face. Part of me hopes she'll continue petting my head, but as might be expected, she draws her hand away, her face flustered. Sakura, I didn't know. There's a lot about kitsunes that's a mystery to me. Oh no, it's totally fine. It's not like I'm mad or anything. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I wish Juni pet my head again. Ohana sometimes pats my head when I do a good job during our training session, but her touches are too soft and light. It's more as though she is afraid of breaking me. It feels different with Juni. She might be a stranger, but anyway, it looks like we're almost at our destination. I was so lost in my thoughts, stopped paying my surroundings any heed. But now Juni mentions it, we have walked pretty far. The forest is behind us now, the trees giving way to a large meadow, the field filled with the long swaying blades of grass decorated with wildflowers. There's a bubbling brook not too far away, hidden among the trees. I can see it, but I can hear its crystalline water sloshing against the rocks with comforting regularity. My nose twitches. I can smell something sweet and mild. Primroses, maybe. I've never been to this place before, but it makes quite the first impression. Whoa, this place really is beautiful. It's just. I know you like it here, Mikota. I used to come here to train a lot when I was a young girl. I work up a sweat and clean myself off in the brook in the woods. I haven't been back in a while though. You mean you've been training to be a knight ever since you were a little kid? That's right. I always wanted to help those in need, and being a knight seemed like the most practical way to go about it. Well, being a mercenary, so would I say, is the ability to help everybody. I mean, you say your own price, pretty much, if you're a mercenary, and you can regulate the price to be able to help anyone. But I would help anyone even if I don't get anything for it. Back when I was younger, I didn't have a real sword. I used to practice my swings with a wooden stick over and over until I wore myself out. I wasn't very good at fighting at first. My swings were too wild, and I'd lash out and then I'd overbalance and fall over. I always ended up covered in dirt. But I didn't give up. I worked long and hard, and in the end, my perseverance paid off. When I was 16, I was accepted into the army, and I moved to the capital so I could continue with my training. I served in the army for 8 years. I fought in a lot of wars, and I did my best to keep the country safe. Well, then there's no wonder Fallon seems to respect you so much. You really are a hero. Thank you, but I don't know if I go quite that far. I didn't become a knight for fame or fortune. I just wanted to help others. I believe that was what I was doing, and my time in the army was fulfilling, but a sight. All the blood and death can get a girl down, you know. I can hardly imagine. I spoke with Ohana all the time, but I never been in a real fight. I never seen anybody die. I never killed anybody either, but Juni, despite her gentle smile and her soft countenance, must have. She served in the army after all, and she's fought in wars. The sword strapped on her back isn't for decoration. I can't help but be impressed a little unnerved. Juni doesn't look like a killer. She's far too soft and gentle. But her resolve is even harder than iron. That's probably a good thing, Mikoto. You don't want to watch other people die. It's harrowing. But you did it for 8 years. Yes, I did. And I started to wear me down. I told myself I was fighting for the sake of my country, but so many disputes were over silly things like land or resources. It didn't feel like I was fighting for a particular noble cause. I had to wonder if I was really helping people, or if I was stroking my own ego. Plus, I felt a little homesick. It's kinda hard to believe, huh? Compared to the capital, Warren Village is very tiny pinprick on the landscape. It's hardly even registers. There's not much here, and there's little to do. But I made fond memories where during my childhood, and I care for it all the same. No, I I think I can understand that. I lived in Yamata all my life, but now I'm free from it. Almost miss it. Almost, but not quite. I'm not ready to go back just yet. I left the army a couple of years ago and came back to my old home. My parents moved away, but Warren Village largely the same as I remember. Unwin is just as petty and close-minded as always. Fowler is still earnest and hard-working, and there are fireworks at the Harvest Festival. The regularity is comforting, I guess, but I was starting to think I'd be here too long already. I was thinking about returning to the army. Juni smiles at me, her eyes soft and gentle. But I can hardly do that now. That now you're here. Huh? Oh, I'm sorry if I was getting in your way. You don't need to apologize. I'm glad I met you. Your company is incredibly interesting. And I'd rather fight to protect you than fight to seize land that doesn't rightfully belong to me. It seems like a more valuable use of my time. Are you sure about that? Quite sure. Now, I didn't bring you out here so I could talk your tail off. That wasn't what I intended. There's actually something I'd like us to do. You said earlier back in my cottage that you weren't the best at fighting, and when I was younger I always came here with a wooden stick to train. I know you're still recovering, but I thought it might be good if I gave you a few lessons in self-defense. It would help to fend off any attacks from other humans if you get into any other sticky situations. And physical exercise is an excellent way to soothe the mind. What do you think? Juni I spoke with a zealous energy. Do you want to spar with me? I might not be as good as your tutor, Hana, did you say her name was? But I have a lot of experience and I love to share it with you. Well, I don't know. Hana would probably get jealous. She's quite possessive, you know. I understand. I would be possessive too if I had a student as cute as you. How shameless. Do you think flattery can pervert my moral compass? Maybe not, but... Juni grins. If you agree to spar with me, I pat your head. Will that help sway you? Ah, I paused. Juni got me, and she knows it. I don't particularly want to spar with Juni. I'm terrible at physical combat, and I'm afraid she'll laugh at me. But with a winding condition like that on the line, there's no way I can refuse. Juni hands feel way too good, damn it. I'm completely at her mercy. Well, that's the picture, and my throat is actually not gotten sore yet, which is very lucky of me. So that means I can do the second episode indirectly. But I don't like when it goes up to twice the time of one episode. 40 minutes, 45 very shortly. But at least that was all I have for Sakura Fox Adventure this time then. So hit like and subscribe, and see you next time. BroFive!